Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today on the website of French auction portal Inter, we're going to have a look at an auction by Vichy Auctions of France. So for those of you that are unaware, Vichy Auctions in France is a big auction house and they do quite a lot of sales of musical instruments over the year, and they usually bundle a few auctions together at the same time and they tier them in levels of kind of value. So this is the kind of top tier auction of their set of three. This is happening on the 6th of June. I've done videos for the other two auctions, the middle tier and the lower tier. You'll find them somewhere on the channel. So this, in theory, should be the higher tier stuff. I think this auction, this set of auctions in general, is not the highest level. So the highest level auction in this set is maybe not as high as some of their other ones, but still interesting enough. Buyer's premium is 25% on this, so whatever the final hammer price is, you need to pay that percentage on top. Bear in mind this is a French auction, so if you're looking to buy something outside of France, import, export, shipping, then please check out the terms and conditions, all of that kind of stuff, so you know what you're in for. Before we get on to it, because there are 380 lots, just like to say, if you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing, like, comment, turn on notifications, etc. I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible, but there are 380 lots. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's the same in this auction, a lot of repetitive French stuff. It happens a lot in these Vichy auctions, so we'll do our best and just cover a few things which look curious. So yeah, 6th of June this auction, link in the description. Let's start off with the first few, just so we get an idea of what's happening in this auction. I've got a violin by Charles Drouin in Miracle 1908, numbered 543. So 1,500 to 2,000 euros on that. It's very standard looking, in my opinion. Then we've got apparently a beautiful violin by JTL, made in Miracle 1902, numbered 2. So I think that's kind of up for debate, really. Also looks fairly standard to me, 2 to 3. Violin by Charles Louis Colin Mazat, Fee, made in Paris 1932, 1,500 to 2,000 on that. Once again, fairly standard, but these are very popular, so I'm sure it will do quite well. So moving on from there, we've got a violin by Lucien Schmidt, Grenoble, 1966, numbered 209, 2 to 3 on that. It's actually a fairly nice looking instrument, and 357 length. The back looks to be in pretty good condition as well. Interesting F-holes on those. These kind of quite slants at the top and bottom. Quite curious. Violin by Amédée Dieudonné. We saw a lot of those in some of the other auctions, but lower tier ones. That looks to be fairly clean. A lot of the other auctions we covered, things were missing bridges and needed to be set up, a bit like this, but in worse condition. So violin by Julien Levesque, Montlucon, 1940. Saw a few of these, or at least one or two in the other auctions, 2 to 2.5. So the value is a little bit higher in these. Got a Grand John here. Saw a few of those as well. The previous auction, 3 to 4 on that one. Violin by Joseph Aubry, made in Le Havre, 3 to 4. Got a nice back on that. So we will see a few names, I think, in this auction that we didn't come across in the other one. Violin by Albert de Blaise, a little bit lower, that one. Right, so moving into a bit of a higher territory now. A violin by Pierre Hell, made in Lille, 1924, number 284, 15 to 18,000 on that one. It's an interesting kind of decoration on there. So this is a very popular maker there. Obviously needs a fair amount of work, missing some bits. 358 length of back. Mouginot, it's fairly standard. Another Amédée Dieudonné there, so a slightly higher value one with that kind of dark red French varnish you sometimes see. Oh, sorry, that was a viola. That's why I was getting a bit confused by the price there. So viola 413 length of back there, so hence a slightly higher price. Violin by Charles Jacot, Nancy, 1845, 8 to 10 on that. Needs a fair amount of work, but actually quite a nice looking instrument. That nice varnish, yeah, head detached. So yeah, I can see that being quite nice after a good restoration, but that's going to cost a bit. 8 to 10, nice looking instrument. Violin by Andre Dugas, 2.5 to 3 on that, fairly standard looking. Violin from the workshop of Andrea Castagneri, Paris, 1740. Nice looking instrument and a popular maker. Definitely been around a while. A lot of interesting marks there. 7 to 8 on that. And we've got violin by Paul Cowell, made in Nantes. This is a name that's kind of going around at the moment. It seems fairly popular. 3 to 4. Another JTL there. Violin by Charles Flambeau, Miracle 1870. Which I think it's got some charm. This is inked purfling on the front and back, but I think that's kind of interesting looking instruments. Those, another Jules Levesque. Right, we've got a Joseph Hell now, made in Lille, 1890, number 244, 11 to 12. Another kind of popular maker there. Pierre Clodeau there. I'm going to have to skip a few things. French violin, 1870. Okay, violin from the French school, made in Paris around 1720. Okay, in the style of Francois Vaillant. Replaced head, 6 to 8,000 there, 358 length of back. Yes, it's quite nice. I wonder if the ribs are inset into the back. Some of these older instruments, or the French instruments, had that, but hard to see in these photos. So quite like the FOs. That's quite charming instrument. 6 to 8. It's nice. Done by Henri Durand. We'll skip that for now. Right, nice violin by Albert Blanchy, made in Nice, 1917. I really like this maker, 12 to 15,000. Really nice scrolls usually. I'm not sure about the varnish on this one. Usually some of the other ones I've seen, I'm pretty sure were a bit more orangey than this. So, but anyway, a popular maker at the moment. Right, we're on to bows now. Violin bow by Dominique Poisson, known as Justin Poisson. 3 to 4 on that. So the bows will be a bit better in this auction. In some of the other ones, they were a little bit in need of work. Cello bow by Pascal Lauserat, definitely pronounced that wrong. 5 to 6 on that. We've got a very beautiful violin bow by Emile Auguste Houchard, fee, made around 1937-38, 10 to 12 on that. So it looks in pretty good condition on that one. Interesting bows here. This cello bow by François Jude Galliard, made around 1835-1840, 2 to 3 on that. It's ironwood stick. That's kind of curious. A few nice ones here. A Harmand violin bow stick, made around 1820, 6 to 8 on that. Let's see what else we've got here. Viola bow stick from the Dodd family, made around 1780, so kind of English bow there. Nice head on that, 5 to 6. Had a bit of a break, I think, but interesting. A few more bows here. We've got a violin bow by Henri Louis Guillet, 1960-65, 8 to 10. So looking good so far. Better quality of items. Right, violin bow by Charles Francois Pacat, 1900-1905, 10 to 12 on that. Okay, so a few issues with that bow. Violin bow by Joseph Alfred Lamy Père, 7 to 9 on that, 1900. Let's see what else we've got here. Let's carry on because there's a lot of things in this auction. Right, high level bow here by Eugene Nicolas Sartre, around 1930, 18 to 20,000 on that. Everyone is interested in Sartre at the moment. Right, very beautiful viola by N. Arney, made at Solomon's Widow in Paris in 1773. Okay, 12 to 13 on that. Actually looks in quite good condition. 418 as well. That's a really good size. So that's an interesting viola. Thuvenel. Let's have a look at this violin by Just Derazy. 4 to 5 on that. It's fairly nice. German violin, probably late 17th century. Okay, interesting. Restorations, 357. Yeah, it's actually quite nice. 3 to 3.5 on that. Nice scroll. Right, violin, probably Italian, made around 1750. The Granarius label, 10 to 12, 354 length the back. Yeah, it's quite a nice, curious looking back to that. So fairly interesting. Ordino, Lebert, we're going to skip these for now. Humbert, Remy, beautiful violin by Hippolyte Chrétien Sylvestre, Lyon 1885. 12 to 15, that's really nice, quite dense bird's eye there, not kind of as super dense as some you see on some of these older, like some of the Steiners and things. You see some really interesting wood, but nice looking in any case. Interesting viola by Francois Gand, made in Marseille 1780, 2 to 3 on that. It's been rejoined there. 376 though, length of back, that is pretty small. German violin there. Let's carry on. Dugard. Right, violin by Gand and Bernadelle, made in Paris 1882, numbered 1001, 6 to 8. These are popular, so I'm sure that will do well. Definitely needs a bit of TLC there, a bit of a crack going on. Colin Mazar stuff again. Fatigue, Jacquot. Let's have a look at that. Violin by Pierre Charles Jacquot, Nancy, 1875, 6 to 8 on that. Yeah, it looks in pretty nice condition. Let's see. Right, okay, now we're into real territory now. Got a violin by Goffredo Cappa, made in Saluzzo around 1700 with the Cappa label. Different restorations, 358. Length of back, 70 to 80,000 euros on that. Really nice back and varnish on that. Obviously some work done, an interesting scroll. So there we go, in some high profile stuff. Quite a jump actually between the first two auctions and this one. The other two were not especially great. Let's have a look at this. Violin by Emile Leap, made in Paris around 1949, 2 to 3,000. Really nice back actually on that. It's weird, the front looks a bit strange. Maybe just the way the varnish is worn, it looks like the front is kind of sunken in a bit, but it's probably just an illusion. Right, violin by Johann Georg Vogler in Würzburg, 1740, 1745, 3 to 4 on that. It's a really nice choice of wood actually in the back, quite a nice colour varnish, 356 length of back. Violin from the Flemish school, made around 1680, okay, in the style of Matthias Hoffmann's. Okay, 6 to 8. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, interesting. Doesn't quite look that old, but we'll believe that. Interesting cello by Francesco Ruggieri, made in Cremona around 1680. 400 to 500,000. Wow, okay, that's definitely a high profile one. Interesting back on that. It's definitely a top tier instrument. Okay, condition report as well. Yeah, I mean that is a high level instrument for sure, so really interesting to see that. We're on to bow territory again. Okay, let's have a look at this. Got a viola bow by Emile Auguste Ushafi, made around 1944, 18 to 20,000 on that. Ivory, interesting kind of crack to the ivory there. And a cello bow by Louis Morizot Père, Joseph Morizot Père, 4 to 5 on that. Quite a nice head on that. 6 to 8 here. We've got a violin bow by Claude Auguste Thomasin. Okay. And cello bow by Joseph Alfred Lamy, 1910, 12 to 15 on that. Looks pretty clean. Let's have a look at this one actually. Violin bow stick by Charles Louis Bazat, made around 1925. Frog by Charles Alfred Bazat in tortoiseshell, 2 to 2 there. Some other high level stuff here. Violin bow by Nicolas Malin around 1845, 14 to 18,000 on that. So really nice head on that one for sure. Right, a few more bows here. Let's have a look at this viola bow stick from Mayor's Workshop, 1835, 324 on that. Back to, another bow here. Violin bow by Jacob Uri, 1810, 25 to 30,000 on that. Once again with this nice big pearl that I quite like, but it's probably not to everyone's taste. Interesting French cello, 1920-25, with a Puzzle label, 10 to 12 on that. Quite nice back and nicely made. 7/8 cello by Francois Contal, 2 to 3 on that. It's in a bit of a state. A few more cellos here. German cello around 1780. We'll have a look at most of the cellos because we don't see many of those. Cello by Lebert Humbert. Okay, for 5 to 6 on that. Cello by Charles Plumerel, made in Angers, 15 to 18 on that. Okay. Some more cellos here. Miracle cello around 1900 with a broken neck or detached neck. Cello, German cello, made in Mitterwald about 1860. Interesting kind of crackle on there on the varnish. 4 to 5 on that. Right, 7/8 small size French 18th century cello, 4 to 5 from the Solomon School. Okay. And right, another cello here, Miracle cello, 4 to 5, the Breton model. 7/8 cello by Francois Gavinier, made in Paris around 1750, 25 to 28,000 on that one. Nice kind of flower decoration there. I think there was the guild or the maker that was making all the scrolls that's called like references Le Fille, which is basically like the girl. So that's interesting. Nice looking cello there. Not 100% sure about the kind of this choice of wood for the fingerboard and the tailpiece, but nice outline, nice F-holes on that one. Cello by Charles Lewis Colin Mazafi, 1922, 10 to 12 on that. Oh, quite a lot of cellos actually, so it's a good auction if you are a cellist. Okay, so cello Lebert Humbert there, 3 to 4. It's kind of fairly standard stuff there. Right, late 17th century German cello from the Steiner School. The Steiner label, 12 to 15,000 on that. Nice kind of lion head on there with a quite big tongue, so that's interesting. Miracle cello made around 1924-1930, 6 to 9 on that. Right, 20th century Italian cello, bearing label and iron mark Giuseppe Pedrozzini, made in the style of Novelli, 10 to 15,000. Nice back on that. This needs a bit of attention there. Bottom seal detached, so yeah, that needs some attention. Interesting corner work there. That's a nice choice of wood for the back there. Cello from the workshop of Franz Bayer, Vienna, 1919, 4 to 5 on that. Cello by Marc Lebert, Miracle around 1920-1930s, 8 to 10 on that. Okay, French cello made in Paris around 1750 from the Solomon School, 12 to 15,000. Again there. Another one with this flower decoration in the edge work, probably has a shell or something at the back there of the scroll, but we don't have that image, but nice. Cello by Charles Quinoil, made in the Pilot Commune of Igny in 1926. Interesting. 10 to 12. Interesting Cello by Gandon Bernardel, Paris 1888, number 446. Presented according to the inscription of the site in 1889 at the first prize of the Conservatoire National de Musique de Paris to Monsieur Filastre. Okay, interesting. Popular, these Gandon Bernardel stuff, very kind of neat work. Cello by JTL there, 6 to 8. Cello by JTL again, 66 to 8. Interesting, the difference in varnish there. Cello by Amédée Dieudonné, Miracle 1930, 8 to 10 on that. So that is an interesting one. Let's see what else we got here. Right, an Italian cello made in Milan around 1750. More recent replaced headstock or scroll. Okay. That's a definitely interesting looking one, but quite a nice scroll there. 60 to 70,000 euros. Right, a cello by Jean-Baptiste Villon made in Paris in 1842. So it looks like that needs a fair bit of work. 60 to 80 on that. Oh, missing its head of the scroll, or detached in any case. So that is interesting. Back into bow territory again. Violin bow by Marcel Charles Lapierre, made around 1953, 3 to 4,000 on that. So tortoiseshell frog. Violin bow by Joseph Marchand, 1775 in ironwood. Okay, nice Kramer head as well, so doesn't look like it has the frog on that. Interesting violin bow by Nicholas Leonard Tort, made around 1780, 10 to 12,000 on that. So interesting historical bow there. Let's see what else we've got. Cello bow by Marie-Louise Piano, 1925, 6 to 8 on that. Viola bow by Bernard Houchard, around 1975, 6 to 7 on that. Cello bow stick by Francois Lupeau, around 1800. Ivory frog and button from the same period, 6 to 8 on that. Okay, violin bow by Nicolas Malines, 12 to 15 on that. Violin bow by Émile Auguste Houchard Fille, 8 to 10 on that. Right. Al Gagner and Bergeron, double bass bow, 2 to 3, around 2,000. Interesting. A few more bows here. Cello bow stick by Auguste Lenoble, 1885. Okay, 5 to 6 on that. I think let's carry on because we've still got quite a lot to cover. Violin bow by Victor Francois Fatigue, 6 to 8 on that. And violin bow by Henri Louis Guillet, 1940, 4 to 5. Violin bow by Eugene Sartori again, 1940, 20 to 22 on that. Back onto instruments again. French provincial violin. I do like these, but this one is not so exciting, unfortunately. 7/8 cello there, from the 18th century, French. Definitely in need of some TLC. Cello by JTL, 7 to 8 on that. Right, back to violins. Right, violin by George Hudson, made in Skegness, 1895. That's interesting, 2,500 to 3,000 on that. A nice, really nice scroll on that. Italian violin, made in Naples in the 19th century, made in the style of Carlo Leveri, 10 to 12,000 on that. This is the kind of thing that I would just never recognise as being Italian, to be honest, so I think you really need to be an expert to recognise some of this stuff. Right, French cello, made around 1870. There's a copy of Amati, 7 to 8 on that. And violin by Maurice Rogier, made in Toulon, 2.5 to 3 in 1939. Moving on, right back into the top tier stuff here. Beautiful violin by Francois Louis Pic, made in Paris around 1800, 1805. 50 to 60,000 on that. So this is one of the most important French makers of all time. So very nice indeed. Actually, what was the length of back on that? I didn't quite see. 357. So all very nice. French stuff here. I'll skip some of this stuff. Actually, cello by Honoré Derazy. This looks like the Difo Pruger kind of one. I wonder if it's got a funny head on it, or if it's got a normal head. Let's see. Yep, it's got a funny head on it. So there we go. You usually can tell when you start seeing these corners what it's going to be. Or Duodonna, Jacques Camerout. Right, interesting viola by Francois Fent, made in Paris around 1790, 394, length of back 4 to 5. That's quite nice. That seems a very reasonable estimate, so it's quite curious. Cello, made in Mircore around 1870 from the school of Jules Galliard. Some interesting crackle on there, but quite nice. Right, violin, made in Naples around 1820 with a label for Vinaccia, 354, length of back 40 to 45,000 on that. Yep, nice looking violin. Violin by Charles Jacot, made in Paris around 1860, 19 to 20 on that. And another cello there. Let's have a look at this cello. Probably French, made around 1740, 1750, 6 to 8 on that. That is quite nice. I'm going to have a look at this because I quite like the Chapuis stuff. Augustin Chapuis, 1780, but that is not the most exciting of violins, to be honest. Nice scroll though, 2 to 2-2. Right, nice violin by Jacques Pierre Thibault, made in Paris 1827, 15 to 20. That is a very nice violin, actually. I go as far as to say that's probably one of the nicer ones that we've seen so far. So yeah, I like that a lot, actually. So lot 175. I'm going to try and make a mental note of that for the thumbnail. Okay, right, another violin bow by Nicholas Leonard Tort here, 1780, Amoret with a bone, frog and button, 6 to 8. Yeah, nice bow for sure. Violin bow by Francois Bonnard, 1840, 10 to 12. That's quite an interesting head on that one as well. Viola bow by Jacques Ordonneau, around 1970, 1972, 5 to 6 on that. Okay, and viola bow by Andre Vigneron, 8 to 10,000 on that one. Let's see what else we got here. Violin bow stick by Jean-Dominique Adam, 1840, 5 to 6. Viola bow by Émile Auguste Ouchafi, 1940, 10 to 12. Let's see what else we have here. Viola bow by Jacques Ordonneau, made around 1985, 6 to 8 on that. Okay, a few more bows here. Viola bow by Henri Louis Guillet, 1960, 10 to 12 on that. And right, we've got really some high-end stuff here. Another Sartori there, 18 to 20. And we have another Guillet as well, which is 10 to 12. And a few other bows as well. Okay, wow, we're into top territory here. Violin bow by Jakob Uri there, 1840. With copy, rear frog and button specially made by Edwin Clement. Right, 40 to 45,000 on that. So that's a pretty high-end bow. Right, 4-string double bass made in Mirecourt around 1880. Definitely needs a fair amount of work on that. 6 to 8,000 there. Another JGL cello. We can go away from that. Rare cello head by Tommaso Ebele, made in Naples around 1760. Okay, 5 to 6,000. So there you go. If you want a bit of Italian cello on a budget, you could just buy a head for 6,000 euros or so. Another one of these Derazi due for Pruga things, so we should see a head again on this one, I would suspect. Yep, there we go. So fairly standard. Right, let's see. Violin by Leon Fischesser, made in Paris 1906. Small viola by Charles Adolphe Moccatel, 5 to 6 on that, so 390. Don't think that's all that small really. Violin by Claude Allard, made in Sarlat, 1988. 600 to 800. That's a slightly interesting model there. Right, into big stuff again. We have a violin by Lorenzo Carcassi, made in Florence, around 1755, 35 to 40,000 on that. It's got a nice looking violin, 353 length of back there. And a violin from the Italian school, made around 1900, 5 to 6. Definitely an interesting one for sure. Slightly crude scroll there. Right, violin head by Jean-Baptiste Viaume, 5 to 6 on that. So also, if you want a cheap way to own a Viaume or part of a Viaume, that could be one way. Right, another Albert Blanchy violin here. Seems not too dissimilar from the other one I think we saw. Let's see. Right, a viola made in the Withers workshop in 1920, 3 to 4, 396 length of back. Here's a violin by Paul Bailly, Paris 1902, 5 to 6. It's quite a nice back on that. See what else we have. Interesting violin, probably Italian, made around 1910, 2 to 3 on that. Okay, interesting. Cool scroll turns on that. A violin by Johannes Florentus Guidantus, made in Bologna around 1740, 1750, 50 to 55,000 on that. Nice back on that. Violin by Alexandre Delanoy, made in Bordeaux in 1891, 6 to 8 on that. That's a nice varnish there at the back. JTL stuff, Mirecourt cello. Let's carry on because quite a lot of things to look at. Interesting violin by Joseph Bassot, Paris 1791, 20 to 25 on that. Seems edgework is quite heavy on this violin, not to my taste, but interesting in any case. Back into the bow land again. Cello bow by Francois Nicolas Vorat, 10 to 12 on that. And violin bow by Francois Nicolas Vorat, 12 to 5. What else do we have here? Right, violin bow by Nicolas Remy Maire, 1850, 15 to 20 on that. Definitely needs a bit of TLC there. That's it's been heavily used for sure, so it needs a bit of a restoration, that one. Let's see what else you got. Cello bow by Claude Auguste Thomasat, 1890, 6 to 8 on that. And violin bow by Claude Thomasat, 6 to 8. Let's see, we've got here Violin Bow by Joseph Arthur Vigneron pair, 6 to 8. And right, we're into some big money territory again. Cello Bow by Nicholas Remy Mayer, 1845, 25 to 30 on that. Got a very beautiful cello bow by Dominique Pacat, around 1850, 40 to 50,000 on that. Yeah, nice head for sure. So some very nice things going on here. Right, a cello or viol bow stick made by Nicholas Leonard Torp, made around 1770 in Amaret wood. Okay, that's quite a slender head on that, 6 to 8. That's a curious one there. Violin Bow by Victor Fetique, around 1925, 8 to 10 on that. And we've got a Violin Bow by Joseph Alfred Lamy pair, around 1900, 10 to 12. Right, a 7/8 violin, late 18th century, Italian, sorry. Kind of curious enough, 10 to 12. Really nice scroll on that. 19th century Italian violin, probably from the Neapolitan school, heel torn off. 6 to 8 on that, so nice back. So it needs definitely some work. Violin by Claude Pirot there, Paris 1803. So it's definitely a better auction, this one, for sure. I think we're going to have to skip some things, otherwise this auction's going to go on forever. Beautiful cello by Paul Jambard, made in Paris 1913. Nice varnish on that for sure. Let's see what else we've got. Few more interesting things coming up, I'm sure. Let's have a quick look at this one. French violin in Paris 1770, 4 to 5 on that. Nice back actually, that's very nice. Nice scroll. Right, violin by Joseph Hell in Lille, 1902, 643 Magini model there, 8 to 10. Nice back on that. Violin by Enrico Marchetti, Turin 1927, 20 to 25 on that. And beautiful violin by Paul Blanchard, Lyon 1897. Yeah, very nice back on that, 8 to 10. Interesting cello from the Spanish school, made around 1800 in the style of Guillaume. So that's quite interesting. 30 to 40,000 on that. Good to see the Spanish stuff getting some good recognition there. So a violin by Andre Bory, Saint Quentin, 3 to 4. Interesting varnish on that. And interesting and rare violin by Pierre Lelivre, made in Paris 1749, 5 to 6. Needs a lot of work. That's a nice kind of carving at the side. It's interesting. Original neck, they said there, so that's definitely curious. Viola Bow by Francois Jude Goliard, 1830, 6 to 8 on that. It's got a replacement frog on that, so that's pretty cool. Violin bow stick by Leonard Tort, 1790, 1795, 8 to 10. Very beautiful cello bow by Pierre Simon, around 1860, 30 to 40. And violin bow stick by Eugene Nicholas Sartre, 1910, 7 to 8 on that. And it's quite an interesting detail on that frog there. Some big ticket things again. Pierre Simon violin bow there, 12 to 15. A very beautiful cello bow by Pierre Simon, around 1860, 45 to 50,000 on that. Definitely significant. Right, Viola bow by Jean-Jacques Millant, made around 1960-1965, gold-mounted tortoiseshell slide rail, 9 to 10. I really like these frogs that on these Millant bows. I think they're really, really interesting. Probably definitely an acquired taste, but I think they are really quite interesting. I think they got their numbering on the pages a bit weird on this thing. Well, okay, another bow by Nicholas Leonard Tort. That's interesting. 6 to 8 on that. That's quite nice. Cello bow stick by Eugene Nicholas Sartre there. 12 to 15. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Interesting violin bow by Eugene Sartre, made for the 1931 International Colonial Exhibition, where Sartre won the grand prize. 30 to 35 on that. More instruments here. Interesting and rare cello by Bernard Millant, 1956, 15 to 20,000 on that. Nice wood on the scroll there. Violin from the Pierre Bouquet School there, 2.5 to 3. Violin by Dante Ragazzoni, student of Biziac there, 1961, 8 to 10. Curious. Right, violin from the workshop of Marcel Vetlot. Let's see what else we got here. Viola by Jean Bauer in Angers, 1985, 5 to 6 on that. Violin by Michelangelo Puglisi, made in Catania, 1923. Varnishes crackling a fair bit on that. 5 to 6,000 euros on that one. Okay, interesting viola by Joseph Gaffino, made in Paris, 1756. 419 length of back's good size, 15 to 20. It's got the nice kind of Lefy scroll there with the flower of that kind of period in Paris, so that is pretty nice. Let's see, violin by Charles Adolphe Gand. Looks like some funny bits on the varnish on the front there. 8 to 10. And another violin by Paul Bailly there. We've got 1866, 8 to 10. Viola by Delaunay, Paris, 1775-1780, 6 to 8,000 on that. Let's see, 402 length of back on that one. Violin by Giovanni Foscini, made in Bagnacavallo, 1980, 5 to 7 on that. Quite a nice, interesting back on that. Maybe not the most refined work. 4-string double bass of French. Quite a nice back on that, but in a terrible state. 2 to 3 on that one. Late 18th century Italian violin bearing Vincenzo Rasura label. Okay, with original neck on that, 6 to 8. Okay, that's curious. Wonder why that is such a low estimate there. Quite interesting. Looks like it's had some worm intrusion. Back to bows again. Let's have a look at this. Viola bow by Emile Auguste Ushafi there, 12 to 15. Cello bow by Charles Louis Bazin, 1940, 4 to 5 on that. And cello bow by Auguste Lenoble, 1890. Ivory and silver mounted there, 6 to 8. That's a nice head actually. Quite like that. That's quite a nice looking bow. Let's see what else we got here. Violin bow by Joseph Arthur Vignon-Père there, 8 to 10. Cello bow by Victor Francois Fatigue there, 8 to 10. Let's see. Sold with a extra frog as a copy, which I think makes sense. If you have a historical bow and, you know, the frog is a bit screwed up, I think rather than just try and restore it and damage it further, just get a replacement copy made. I think that makes sense. Violin bow by Emile Auguste Houchard there, 8 to 10 is the estimate on that. It's an interesting button there. Right, Vigneron Fee cello bow stick, and 1905, 8 to 10 on that. A few more bows here. Violin bow by Auguste Barbe, there, 6 to 8. And I think we're on the last page now because their numbering is a bit weird. Very beautiful bow by Stéphane Tomachot, 1995, 18 to 20,000. So high level modern maker there. And a violin bow by Joseph Henry, made around 1860, 1865, 40 to 50,000 on that. And an interesting violin by Honoré Derazy, 7 to 8 on that. And a viola by Vincent Lane, made in Paris 1995, number 59, 5 to 7 on that. Let's see what other stuff we have. Violin by Justin and Paul Dieter, made in Marseille 1931, 6 to 8 on that. And nice violin by Benoist Fleury, 1758. Quite like the F holes on that, 7 to 8 in that one. Quite a nice scroll. That's an interesting violin. Cello made in Mittenwald in the 19th century from Neuner and Hornsteiner, which are good, reliable makers. And we're cracking on a bit here. Violin by Pierre Gagini, made in Nice, number 158 to 10. And violin by Leon Bernadel there, Paris 1902, 68. Right, interesting French 5-string double bass, around 1860, 12 to 15,000 on that. Yeah, it's quite a nice looking instrument there. Definitely needs a bit of TLC. French provincial cello, made around 1830, 1840, 10 to 15,000 on that. A viola from the beginning of the 19th century, 8 to 10. I quite like the F holes on that. That's quite curious. 402 length at the back. That's pretty good. Some more Diodona. Violin, probably Italian, made around 1900, 355. I think that 4 to 5 on that. Right, some more bows here. Viola bow by André Georges Richaume there, 1950, with a tortoiseshell frog, 6 to 8 on that. Violin bow by Dominique Pacat, around 1845, 20 to 25,000 on that one. Violin bow by Victor Fatigue, around 1925, 6 to 8 on that. And violin bow by Jean-Pierre Marie Pessot, 1825. Bit of a head break on that, 8 to 10, but it just shows you even some of these French bows, even with a big kind of head break, they're still worth a fair amount of money. Violin bow by Alfred Lamy Père there, about 1910, 7 to 9 on that one. And violin bow by Emile Auguste Houchard, 6 to 8. Violin bow by Victor Fatigue, 1925, 8 to 10. Coming towards the end now, violin bow by Charles Auguste Thomasin, 8 to 10 on that. And violin bow stick, probably by Leonard Nicholas Tort, 10 to 15 on that. A couple more bows here. Last two. Viola bow by Jacques Ordonneau, 6 to 8, made in 1985. And finishing on Sartre, a viola bow by Eugene Sartre, 1900, 20 to 22,000 euros. And I think that is it. Yeah, really interesting auction. Some pretty cool instruments. Really good selection of cellos, actually. Some good violins, some really nice bows. Overall, pretty interesting. So I'll put a link to the catalogue in the description. Check it out for yourself. And do feel free to comment if you have any thoughts or suggestions. So, yeah, thanks a lot once again for watching. Really appreciate it. And I shall catch you next time. Bye.